it's Lisa from My Dreaming Soap. Welcome to my channel. It's soap challenge time again now. So for this soap challenge we had to do a combing technique. So with a combing technique it was compulsory for us to use a comb. Now you can buy combing tools. I'm going to make my own and it's fairly straightforward to make. The easiest way to make a combing tool is to use some corrugated card. And what I've got here is I've got my little slab mould. And first thing to do is to decide which way you want to comb. Are you going to comb down the long way of your slab mould or are you going to comb across the width? Okay, because obviously the comb you're going to make needs to fit whichever way you're going. Now I want to do my comb going across the width. So I need to make my comb fit there. So I've just cut off a random piece of corrugated cardboard. Now when you cut it, make sure you cut it so that your skewers you're going to put in need to slide through the card. So therefore cut the cardboard so you can see the lines on the cardboard going in the direction you want your skewers. If you cut it this way, you're not going to be able to get your skewers through. Whereas if you cut it the right way round, you've got some lovely little holes for your skewers. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just going to mark the width of mine. Just so that I have at least one skewer that I can run along the edge, so I know I'm going to keep everything straight. If I had it so I started my skewers in the middle, I could potentially go all wibbly wobbly. Right, now I know that's not very straight along there, but that's going to be fine. So just some normal bog standard skewers. Now obviously you could cut these down, you don't need them so ridiculously long. And all we need to do is just pop these through. And you'll find that your corrugated card, can you see that will drive them through in a lovely straight line for you. So then you've just got to decide how close you want your skewers. Obviously the closer you do it, the more detail you're going to get in your design. But be careful with doing them too close. If you did them really, really close, sort of like this, your soap's going to have trouble flowing through the skewers and you're going to end up just sort of scooping it all out of the mould. So I'm just going to go in . I think there will be quite good. I'm doing mine quite close because it's quite a small mould. Yes, I'm going to do mine like that, I think. Okay, so again I'm just going to push it through. Now it doesn't matter if they're not super accurate. You can see my skewer's a little bit bent there. You know, just get them pretty well right. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get this soap made up then. So I've melted all of my oils down and I've got my colours ready. So I'm doing a few different greens. I've got an Emerald Lagoon here and that's from Pure Rock Colours, and also lime from Pure Rock Colours, and this is again another bit of lime, but I've got a little TD in here. I may add a little bit more because I want it to be really quite light, this lime, but I want to see it in the soap sort of thing first before I add any more TD to that. So those are going to be 3 greens I'm going to use. Then I'm doing sort of like a flower at the top of my soap, so I'm going to have some yellow and then I'm just going to have a little bit more of TD on its own. We'll see how I'm going to put those into the moulds in a second. So as you can see, what I've done is I've just pre-dispersed all of those into some oils from my batch. You could use extra oils if you wanted. A bit of olive oil would be fine. That would just increase your super fat and that would be fine, as long as you didn't add loads. Let's get these mixed up then. I do have sodium lactate in with my lye solution as well. Okay, so I've just blended that a tiny bit. Now what I am going to do, and this is unusual for me, especially when I want to keep a soap fluid, is I'm going to add my fragrance oil now into the whole batter rather than individually. And the reason for that is because it is a really slow moving fragrance oil. Well, it certainly was when I tested it. Now, it might seem a bit unusual to be using this fragrance oil for this soap. I'm actually using Sherlock Homey from Nature's Garden. Yes, it is Nature's Garden. Now, I know this seems a bit weird, but this is it's sort of quite it smells of cucumber and citrus and a little bit of musk and a tiny bit of patchouli. A lot of people say they can't notice the patchouli in it at all. So not really a floral fragrance, more sort of like a herby sort of type fragrance is that. But as I said, when I tested it, it was really, really super slow. One thing to bear in mind with Sherlock Homey is the IFRA limit on it is 2.4% in soap. So therefore it's a low usage rate, but it does have a good scent retention at that amount. So that does make it a good value oil to use. So yes, it's a little bit unusual, but I am going to add that. I've got, as you can see, a little bit because I've done my 2.4% there. And I'm going to just blend that in a little bit. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Now in this little squeeze bottle I've just got some TD, so I'm just going to mix that in so I get some white. And then this little bit of yellow, I want this in a squeeze bottle. Okay, let's get my mould in. Here's my mould with all of my dividers. And so I just want to pour these greens in alternate bits of the divider. So I'm just putting a little bit in each divider first, just so it then gives you a little barrier against any soap creeping out of the bottom. Okay, hopefully I've done those alternating. Right, I'm just going to go through trying to make them as even as possible, but they will even out once you take the little dividers out. Okay, and now what I want to do is take that light green and just add a little bit more to each of these. Now these squeeze bottles are quite good because they go in quite deep. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is make my flower. Now I'm not really sure how well this is going to work. I'm just going to squirt some solid air bits along the top. And then finishing that off with a touch of white. Right, there's that done. Right, now I've got to try and get the dividers out now. I don't know if they're going to come out all together. Right, let's get this combing tool in. Just going to turn it to me. And I'm just going to go through once. There we go. Only like that. Now I could leave it like that, but I'm not going to. Let's hope I don't muck it up as I now go and do my extra swirl. So I've just grabbed a lid off one of my other soap moulds, just so I can sort of have some sort of semblance of an idea of getting this going, you know, in a straight line. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So, you know, when you're just tempted to think, oh, I could maybe do another bit or something, but I think I like it. I mucked it up a bit there because I was trying to sort of decide what it was I wanted to do. And didn't really have a plan. Well, I did have a plan, but it wasn't working how I liked it, so I changed it slightly. So I'm going to put this away now. Still, as you can see, still really, really fluid. So I'm probably going to leave this just for a little while, just to settle. And then I'm just going to put it away. I am going to cover it to try and stop it getting any soda ash on it. So here we are. It's actually a few days later. I always leave things that are done in a slab for a few days wrapped up. And what I've done is I've taken these soaps, and as you can see, I've cut them into little bars. Now, one of the things we had to do for the challenge in the winners category, so the top category, we had to put an embellishment on our soaps. Now, I'm not really keen on embellishments. By an embellishment, we mean a decoration or something on the surface of the soap after we've poured it. So, because I was trying to make these sort of look plant-like, as it were, I thought I'm going to add a little butterfly. So all I've done here is I've done the basis of my butterfly. I've made it out of some soap dough, just rolled it out and stamped and cut it out and made a little butterfly. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, I've got some black soap set in here as some piping, and I'm just going to attach my butterflies with a little bit of black soap. And then with the black soap as well, I'm just going to do the body of the butterfly. There we are. I'm really pleased with those. Came out much better than I thought. I had an idea, and again, I don't know if this is going to work. On one of my laying down bars, what about some ants? Should I give it a go? I can always scrape them off, can't I? So we can have bugs in the garden. Some weird creature in too long. Right. I don't know how to do an ant. Not like that. Right. Because I've done my little butterflies, look.
All right.
And then I thought, some of the bars I have to have laying down for the challenge. And I thought, it might be funny to do like some ants.
Possibly, yeah.
But my ants aren't very good.
Do a dummy ant.
I was doing dummy ants. You're on video, by the way. So a head.
No, I'd start the other way around. Big tail, big blob tail.
Oh, I'm doing too many blobs.
Small blob middle, and then small head, and then legs sticking out.
Oh, jeez. I think this is too much, I think, for something that needs to be so tiny, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it looks like a person, if anything. Oh. We're not doing ants.
We're not doing ants.
One thing I have quickly decided to do, as soon as my ants didn't work, is just add a little tiny black dot to those butterfly wings, because they quite often had black dots, don't they, on them? Now the reason I chose to do this blue butterfly was I'd made these soaps, and then throughout the next day after I was doing some gardening, and one of my little bushes was absolutely full of some really gorgeous tiny blue butterflies. And I'd sort of thought about doing, you know, I think they call them the red admirals or whatever. I was going to do those ones, the orange and black ones, but I saw these little blue ones actually in my garden, and I thought they were really pretty.
And then I'll just leave you with a final photo of the soap. I hope you enjoyed this video and you liked the soap. If you have, it would be great if you left me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy soaping.